warahmatullahi wabarakatuh to Madam Syamsul Banu and everyone. I would like to introduce myself. My name is Nur Hashikin binti Muhammad Fadila and my matric cards number is 01DKB19F1018 from DKB5. Today I would like to present the statistic of the tourism arrival and receipt to Malaysia from 2008 to 2020. For everyone information, Malaysia was once ranked 9 in the world for tourist arrival. The Travel and Tourism Competitive Report 2017 ranked Malaysia 25 out of 141 countries overall. In an effort to diversify the economy and make Malaysia's economy less dependent on export, the government pushed to increase tourism in Malaysia. As a result, tourism has become Malaysia's third largest source of foreign exchange income and account to 7% of Malaysia's economy as of 2005. As we are all aware to our global pandemic situation, the situation is getting more difficult this day. There are many sectors of the economy having to close down due to the increased economic losses. Among one of the sectors is the tourism sector. This is because tourists either from within or outside the country are unable to travel to places of interest in Malaysia to reduce the cases of COVID-19 infection in Malaysia, which has been announced by the Prime Minister. Now, I would like to show you my secondary data that I got from the internet and present the graph that I made with the secondary data. This is the secondary data that I got from the website and the title is Tourism Arrival and Receipt to Malaysia by year. As you can see, in this table, the number of tourists are categorized into two groups such as arrival and receipt. First of all, this graph represents the number of tourism arrival and receipt to Malaysia in 2008 to 2020. The horizontal axis represents the year, and while the vertical axis represents the number of tourist arrival in million and the number of receipt in ringgit Malaysia billion, where the purple color legend represents the number of arrival and the orange color legend represents the number of receipt. As you can see in this graph, it can be seen at in 2008 to 2020. Based on the number of tourists, it can be clearly seen that the number of public arrival is more in each year from 2008 to 2020 compared to the number of receipts. The number of tourist arrival was 22.05 million while the number of receipts was Rm 49.6 billion in 2008. After that, the number of tourist arrival increased gradually from 2008 to 2030 and was similar as the number of receipts also increased from 2008 to 2030. The number of tourist arrival increased significantly from 25.72 million in 2030 to 27.44 million tourism in 2014. This represents the higher number of tourism arrival from 2008 to 2020, while the number of tourism receipt also increased from Rm 65.4 billion in 2030 to Rm 72 billion in 2014. This indicates a large addition to the acceptance by the receipt of tourism. However, the number of tourist arrival decreased slightly by 1.72 million from 27.44 million in 2040 to 25.72 in 2050. The number of arrival also decreased significantly by Rm 2.9 billion in 2015 from Rm 72 billion in 2014 to Rm 69.1 million in 2015. Furthermore, as we can see, the number of arrivals rose again to 26.76 million in 2016, while the number of receipts increased sharply by RM30 billion from RM69.1 billion in 2015 to RM82.1 billion in 2016. It remained stable with total receipt at RM82.1 billion in 2016 and 2017, but the number of the tourist arrival declined slightly to 25.95 million in 2017. Next, the number of tourism arrival decreased to 25.83 million in 2018 and increased again to 26.1 million in 2019. The number of receipts increased to RM84.1 billion in 2018 and continued to increase to RM86.1 billion in 2019. Last but not least, we can see the number of tourism arrival decreased sharply to 4.33 million in 2020, seen with the number of the receipt dropped dramatically at RM12.7 billion. This sharp decrease in number is due to Malaysia experiencing a COVID-19 pandemic. Therefore, all tourism activities in Malaysia cannot be done. Based on this graph, it can be concluded that Malaysia is one of the countries that are always visited by tourists either from within or outside the countries. Malaysia has various attractions, for example, beautiful beach, good food and traditional found in Malaysia that can be attract more tourists. In 2014, it recorded the highest number of tourist arrival at 27.44 million, while the lowest number was in 2020 at only 4.33 million. Furthermore, the highest number of receipts is RM86.1 billion in 2019, and the lowest number of receipts is RM12.7 billion in 2020. The decline in the number of arrival and admissions in 2020 is because the whole country has been infected by the coronavirus outbreak. With that, Malaysia took the initiative to close all tourist centres to reduce cases of COVID-19 infection. In my opinion, to increase the number of arrival and receipt is in accordance with the instruction set by the government, which is to always follow the SOP, keep a distance of 1 meter, wear face mask properly, and it is very important to all tourists to take the vaccination to reduce the risk of infection outbreak COVID-19. At the end of this presentation, I would like to say enjoy your travel vacation and be careful where you go. That's all from me. Thank you.